Today we're hiking the Table Mountain Trail, which is located near Alta, Wyoming. You drive to the end of Teton Canyon, a beautiful canyon in the area, and you start the hike from there. This trail is about 10.5 miles with over 4,000 feet of climbing. It is very, very steep so far. We are climbing up what's called the Face Trail, which is the steeper but shorter way to make it to the top. And then we take a loop on the way down, which will be a little bit longer, a little bit less steep. Already out of breath, definitely gonna be a tough one, but super excited. I don't think you can tell very much on camera, but this is probably the steepest trail we have ever hiked. So we knew this trail was going to be pretty tough, but honestly, this was way steeper than we had expected. However, I will say it feels really good to take on something a little more challenging than usual once in a while. We climbed and climbed up the mountain and slowly but surely made our way into this beautiful field of aspens where the trail finally flattened out just for a bit, giving us a little break.
Probably a view off to the right.
So we are currently only at 0.72 miles and we've already climbed over 1,000 feet. So that was really tough, but at least we have 1/4 of the climbing out of the way, so it's not too bad. We enjoyed this short break from all of the climbing before, what do you know, the trail started heading up the hill again. We made sure to stop for lots of water breaks for both us and the dogs. We just hit 2,200 feet of climbing and we're only 1.5 miles in. It has continued to be very steep. It actually looks like we'll hit the top at around 4 miles and then have that longer trail to go back down. While I wouldn't recommend taking your dogs on this hike unless they are used to hiking long and more difficult trails, this is a great dog-friendly option since the trails in Grand Teton National Park next door aren't dog-friendly, and this trail basically takes you to the border of the national park. We finally passed the 2-mile mark. This part is a long, exposed part of the trail. You can see pretty far up ahead of us. However, it's definitely less steep than what we just climbed. We're starting to have some really awesome views. So slowly but surely making it up there. We just came across this water source. So we're gonna drink this water bottle of water from home and then refill it with the water from this stream. And then we have our Life Straw filter right here. We can use that to drink pretty much any water that we come across, which is really nice. So hydrate a little bit with this and then refill.
Let's go.
So we just got our first view of Table Mountain, the peak that we're climbing. Right up here, that rounded looking peak. So I don't know if that makes it better or worse that we can see it in view because we're still pretty far away, but this part of the trail isn't so bad right now and the views are starting to get awesome. Just came to this incredible view. You can see the Grand Teton poking out right back there. We're getting pretty close now. We have about 0.4 miles left to go to the top. Still about 500 feet of climbing, so it looks like we have a pretty steep section coming up right before we get to the top, but super excited that we're getting so close. Are you two ready to get to the top? Almost there. Come on.
Okay.
What in the world? Well, what do you think?
This is unbelievable.
Worth it?
Oh yeah.
Wow, this has to be one of the most amazing things we have ever seen. The views up here are just absolutely incredible. They really leave you speechless. It was definitely worth all of that climbing. So now we're gonna hang out, have a PB&J that I'm really looking forward to, and just appreciate and enjoy all of this. There's no better place than the top of a mountain for a PB&J sandwich, and we also made sure to bring some extra food for the dogs because we figured they would be just as hungry and need some energy as well. So Paul would never say this himself, but he did this entire hike with a 35-pound plate in his backpack. He has something called a Go Ruck bag where you put a weighted plate in the back, and he did this entire thing with that plate. That's what he had to do to slow himself down to stay on pace with me. But I'm so proud of him, and this was a very hard hike, so yeah, he's amazing. This has been such an incredible hike. This view is so amazing. We just finished up having some lunch and we're gonna take the other way back down, so we'll get to see some different views on the way back down. And you did so good, Doug. You're such a little hiker boy. We started making our way back down the trail, preparing for a long hike descending over 4,000 feet. As we mentioned, we chose to take a different trail back down called the North Teton Trail. You could of course take the face trail back down, but the descent is packed into almost half of the mileage, which sometimes can be just as painful as climbing upwards. We're about a mile from the car. This is an insanely beautiful hike, but we're definitely feeling ready to be done, getting tired, ready to be back at the car and heading home. About one more mile, then we'll be all finished up. Nice work.
You too, babe. Great job.
We just made it back to our Airbnb. That hike down felt very long. Paul's Garmin watch is saying that we were almost at 12 miles today, which would mean that our hike up was probably a little over 4 miles and the hike down was almost 8 miles. It was a lot less steep and a lot more of a roundabout way to get back down to the trailhead, so I wouldn't be surprised, and honestly it did feel that long. That hike down felt long and tiring, so we're definitely happy to be home, but what an incredible day. If I could do that trail again, honestly I'd probably do it the exact same way, going up the face trail, getting all of the steep climbing over with, and then having a longer trail on the way back down. And you do have such incredible views on the way back down, which makes it, you know, a little more motivating to keep going to get back to the trailhead. So I'm gonna wrap up this video here. Thank you so much for joining us on this adventure, and I hope you enjoyed watching this trail. If you're watching this because you're planning on heading out to do the Table Mountain Trail, feel free to leave any comments if you have any questions. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Bye!